Been a crazy couple of weeks following Depp versus the Sun. It's been quite a ride. Lots of drama, lots of big stuff and reveals that have come out like every day during this case. It's been a wild ride, but we have reached the end of at least the regular trial. Now, I don't know how long it's going to take for the judge to get his decision. According to at least this article, they're claiming that the case is due to end Tuesday, which is, of course, today, but the judge is not expected to deliver his ruling for several weeks. And I know a lot of you are disappointed by that, and you want a resolution right now, and I'm with you. That's just not the way this works. This is a very high-profile case. There's a huge media circus surrounding this case, and I would imagine he's going to take his time and really look through everything. We'll see what happens. I think there's a lot of momentum in Johnny Depp's favor. I do think that his legal team did a fantastic job, other than a little bit today, and I'll go over that and my reasons for why I think today wasn't as good of a day as it could have been for his team. But overall, I think for the most part, they did a fantastic job of just dismantling the Sun. And I found this, I went and looked at this today. This is the article that started it all. This is the reason that he's suing them. Gone potty. How can J.K. Rowling be genuinely happy casting Johnny Depp in the new Fantastic Beasts film after this claim? They've actually, I think, modified the title. I believe it used to say a certain kind of beater in the title, and that changed, which is kind of funny. Yeah, it was updated the 12th of June, 2018. The article originally came out April 27th, 2018. Yeah, it's been a crazy ride, but we will get to the resolution eventually, and when we get it, I will let you know. And then don't forget, 2021, Depp versus Heard, which I don't know if it will be as crazy as this trial. I feel like everything that we're going to see in that trial came out in this one. But it was a show. One thing that happened that I thought was pretty disrespectful is Amber Heard came out, and this is a little bit before the day wrapped up. While David Shearborn was wrapping up his testimony, Amber Heard went out on the the front courthouse steps and gave a big dramatic statement for the press, thinking that this is Twitter. I thought that was kind of embarrassing and the wrong move, but for shill media, it was actually a good move, and I guarantee you will see a bunch of articles by the end of the day. Brave and stunning, Amber steps up, gives final statements at the end of the day. Like, you'll see all kinds of articles like that. It's such a joke, man. They're going to push the PR machine for her so much over the next couple of weeks while we wait for that ruling. And that's done for a reason. It's done to send a message to the judge as well. It's so the judge knows, hey, we're watching you. You gonna do the right thing, judge? I've seen it before. And I wonder if he'll cave. Because it's so obvious, anyone that's followed this, that she's not the most trustworthy and honest person. Far from it. She's sneaky. She's vindictive. She's evil. She's a narcissist. Anyone that's been following this, I think, has probably come to that conclusion. That's why when you watch videos of Johnny Depp showing up, there's people giving him flowers and Justice for Johnny people all over the place. Like, nobody's there for Amber Heard. But every day when Johnny Depp shows up, there's tons of people there to give him support. Amber Heard gets booed. No, I think she has very little support. And it's funny in her statement today that she gave. She said, I want to thank everybody for the outpouring of support. Who are you talking about? The 20 shill media outlets that have been coming out for you? The real people, the regular people, the people that, are the real judges of everything? I don't think many of them are on your side. That's why there's almost 500,000 signatures to have you booted off of Aquaman 2. Just saying. One nice thing that Johnny did for the final day, He actually gave out packages to everybody that was there as a bandana and a little note and a signature from him. I'm pretty sure from what I read, he gave that to just about everybody in attendance, which I think was pretty nice. Just showing a little gratitude for the support. I thought that was pretty nice. Giving him basically a face mask and an autograph, basically. And I thought that was pretty nice. But you can see the crowd here. Every time he shows up, it's like that. And it's funny. He goes out through the front door every time, in and out. And, well, Amber has to, like, run in through the side door because every day that she comes in, she gets booed and all kinds of stuff because no one's buying it. Nobody's buying it. But basically, this is a wrap-up. It was kind of a standard wrap-up. He just went over everything that we've already heard. He did a pretty good job of going through every lie over and over again. He dismantled them and kind of just wrapped everything up. That's really what happened. He brought up the Kate Moss stuff. This was a really good point. Kate Moss, by the way, still has not spoken out on what's going on. If you remember a few days ago during the Heard testimony, she said that, well, you know, Kate Moss, he pushed her down the stairs and all this stuff. And Kate Moss has not been asked that question, or maybe people have tried to ask her and she hasn't said anything. I'm wondering, you know, how that's going to turn out. There's actually a lot riding on that because it would prove once again that Heard's just making stuff up. And then if she comes out and says it did happen, that's, of course, going to be a pretty big thing as well. She probably just doesn't want to get tied up in this. So we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that one. I'm still waiting. But he went over to Massa quite a bit. Talked about how there were secret recordings. I thought that this was a pretty good statement that he made. So he talked about all the secret recordings that Heard tried to do. However, there's no secret recording of anything where Johnny Depp is apparently wailing on her, any of that stuff. None of that ever got recorded, likely because, well, let's be honest, it didn't happen. So I thought that was a really good statement that he made in here that, you know, how come there's no recordings of that? Where are those recordings? And did a pretty good job dismantling some of these text messages that were used against Depp because he used the word fight in the text messages, whereas anybody that's in a relationship or been in a relationship knows when a couple talks about fighting, it's not a fisticuffs battle. It's a verbal argument usually where you disagree. That's what every couple does. It's just a thing. Doesn't mean that they're like fisticuffing in the yard. You know what I'm saying? That's not what's happening. And it was pretty twisted that she tried to make that the insinuation that a fight was something physical. Went over her being a compulsive liar many times. He thoroughly went through a lot of stuff. And some of the problem here is he took too long going over some stuff. Now, I think he did focus on some of the big stuff. He spent a lot of time on some key stuff. And I think that was the right thing to do. However, he spent so much time on some things that he ran out of time. I feel like he should have prepared a little bit better, especially for high profile this case is. It's a very high profile case. And I feel like towards the end, he got rushed and had to speed through. But there's some factors for that. The judge rushed him, kept reminding him in the time. And then I'm sure he heard about Amber Heard kind of playing some psych games and going out and giving that statement on the courthouse steps, you know, while this was still going on. That probably threw him off. However, I feel like he didn't practice this enough, and he probably should have. Maybe he went in there a little bit too cocky, and that was a mistake on his part. And I hope that doesn't get worked against him, but we'll see. But a lot of time on that. Now, one thing that he did really good, and I want to point this out that I thought was a pretty slick thing here that he figured out. Amber Heard's hairstylist, the person who backed up all of those claims. Oh yeah, I definitely, noticed these marks on her face. This is before the James Corden Late Show, which is a very, 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 very big key of evidence because it shows, she had all of these marks before she went on that show, but now they've mysteriously vanished and never came back. He points out here that Savannah McMillan was spelt incorrectly and brings up the allegation that Heard might have forged that letter, which I think is pretty interesting. Her last name is spelt wrong in the letter that was given to the court. Now that's interesting. Who spells their own last name wrong? It's being alleged that Amber Heard wrote this herself and turned it in. The judge asked, so what's the importance of that? I can't believe he asked that, by the way. Well, because it proves that she lied once again under the stand, or under oath on the stand, which he spends the majority of the time talking about. I thought this was funny. Can I move on to another lie? The whole time he was spent just kind of poking out these lies and stuff like that and talking about this. A complex woman. Mr. Sherborne has just described Heard as a complex woman with all sorts of issues. He is now talking about secret recordings and photos made by the actress throughout her relationship with Depp, which remained secret until this case, which is very, very true. Trying to bring all of this out right at once. And it didn't work. It ended up working against her. Goes over the TMZ article and the photos. Now, like I said, the big thing is the Late Late Show. And I think this is, to me, the biggest piece of evidence out of all this, because we've seen the picture of her with all the marks, and then this is the next day. You can't hide what she had like that. This is probably the most significant, I think, piece of evidence in this entire thing. And I think a lot of people agree with that. And that's why they focused on it for so long. And it was done with good reason. So here's a picture of Amber right here outside of the courthouse. Amber Heard is now speaking outside the court. So she did this right towards the end, and it was done as a tactical thing. I think it was the wrong thing to do. It makes her look like, hey, I need the attention on me, and a little narcissistic, which kind of lines up with everything, right? I got to be the attention grabber. And it's funny. She says the whole time, I didn't want any of this. I don't want any attention, but here you are jumping in front of cameras in front of the court. I wonder if people booed during this. I'll have to go back and watch it. The trial just ended. So here's the thing. So now we get towards the end of this stuff, and he gets rushed. Like, he's reminded several times, you're running out of time, and he speeds through things as quickly as possible. And that's where he kind of dropped the ball. I feel like if he had practiced a little bit more, he could have maybe wrapped this up a little bit cleaner and went through everything a little quickly. He basically didn't really even get to give a closing statement or finish things up because he didn't keep track of time very well. He dropped the ball a little bit. He did. I don't know if it'll make too much of a difference because the Suns legal team was trash yesterday. They literally said that the whole reason Johnny is how he is because he's a misogynist and stuff like that. Like, this is Twitter kangaroo court. I think they've done such a good job during the statements, like when Heard was on the stand and everything, and all of the witnesses that Johnny had, that I don't think it'll really matter. But for as much as he was probably being paid by Johnny Depp, you think he would have put a little bit more time into making sure he did a fantastic job at the end. And I feel like he did drop the ball a little bit. But I think the evidence speaks for itself. So that's the final day. We wait now and see how long it takes. I don't know how long it's going to take. Like I said, it could take a couple of weeks. He could give a verdict by the end of the week. He could give one tomorrow. I don't know. I will be paying attention, though, and when we have something, I don't know if I'll do a quick stream or just put out a video. I'm not sure yet, but when we know, I'll let you know. I hope he wins. There's no guarantee that he will. But that's the final day. They're posting pictures now of everyone leaving. You can see the large crowd there. I'm sure Heard will get booed again. But it's been a crazy show. And I think overall, at the end of the day, I think Johnny Depp's legal team did a really good job. I thought the Sun dropped it. They dropped the ball big time. They should have tried to settle this out of court. But as Johnny Depp's lawyer puts it at the end of his statement that this case was never about the money. It was about vindication. So I wonder if the scum, as I'm learning that people in England call the Sun, I'm wondering if they did try to settle and Johnny said, no, let's take it all the way and let's get some vindication. And I hope he gets some. I think this has been a win for everybody. People that are tired of this he said, she said stuff, people looking for real justice. I think people are kind of looking at this for some, and I hope we all get it. I hope we all get it. But anything can happen. Anything can happen. We shall see. Anyway, what are your thoughts on all this? What do you guys think about this trial? This has been a crazy show, hasn't it? Let me know what you guys think of all that. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Also, if you would, throw a like up, share the video. YouTube hates these videos. Also, if you would, make sure you still subscribe. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you all on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out.